What's up guys, Sarah Winstead here. Welcome back to my channel. And today's video is all about training mistakes. Over the years, I've learned a lot. There's been a lot of research done about what is going to elicit the best bang for your buck in terms of muscle growth, muscle hypertrophy. I was also a personal trainer for about 5 years in person before I switched to online coaching. And so I have observed over the years in my own experience and my clients' experience, a lot of training mistakes and maybe also just some misinformation that may be out there as far as what is going to give you, again, the most bang for your buck, what's going to really change your physique for the better. So, number one, the biggest thing that I see is either poor form in the gym as far as just like not doing the exercises the proper way to elicit the muscle growth, half reps, that can be also related to poor form, or you're going too fast. To elicit muscle hypertrophy, we need a dedicated concentric, which is the contraction phase, as well as an eccentric, which is the lowering phase. Muscle growth happens in both phases. And so if we're constantly rushing the movement, like just pumping it out, and then moving on to the next thing, and then move on to the next thing, and then our form does suffer over time, that can not only, not elicit some muscle gains, that can also relate to an injury, something that nags, something that tears at us, or anything like that over time. And so I encourage you guys, take your time in the gym. Take some time to focus on your form. Take some time to evaluate your reps, your range of motion, and things like that as well. And don't rush. Every rep, every set, every exercise matters. So that's probably the number one training mistake that I see. And it usually comes from people maybe following their favorite Instagrammer or their favorite YouTuber, or just not knowing and having someone critique their form either in person or online. I do request form videos from all of my clients when we're doing training, just so I can see you guys moving in space. It's very helpful for me to see, and then I cue you. And so that's one way to help correct that mistake of training with poor form, going too fast, half reps, things like that as well. The second mistake that I see a lot of people making is they change their training plan too often, every single week, every single day, or every week it's a new style of training. 1 week is burn, 1 week is CrossFit, the next week they're training for a 5K or a half marathon, or they're introducing new exercises to try to confuse the muscles to chase the burn, to chase that soreness and things like that as well over time. And so what your body needs actually to grow muscle is progression, is a dedicated amount of time in a certain training plan. Now that differs by client. Normally I run training plans for at least 3 months, at least, if not longer, because I want to see progression and progressive overload as a cornerstone of your training plan. That means we are increasing weight, sets, reps, improving range of motion, which goes back to my first point. We can also do things like static holds, overall intensity over time. All these things help increase the progressive overload and overloads the muscles to grow and to change. If we're constantly changing training styles, our muscles are going to be adapting to nothing, actually. It's not going to change. It's not going to grow. We need that constant stimulus. I know, people say, oh, it's boring to actually keep training the same for an extended period of time. If you're actually executing your training with precision, beating that logbook, tracking your training, making sure you are giving your very best effort every single set, I guarantee you're not going to be bored. Now, there are instances where I will change out exercises, like I said, every 3, 4, 5 months for clients. I want to see the exercises, I want to see and change our goals and kind of what block we're in and what we're working on and working towards. But again, it's not every single day. It's not every single week. I want to see progression, because that in of itself is going to grow that muscle that you're looking for, and that tone and that shape. The next one I see, number 3, is going to be overtraining. Now, this used to be me. I used to be that person as far as 12 to 13 sets of things as far as exercises in one training session. That's overtraining. I used to hit 7 different things for back or shoulders for one day, and then I do some auxiliary stuff. I used to be in the gym for upwards of 2.5 hours, superset after superset after superset, keeping my heart rate up in between sets. That can lead to overtraining. I was not progressing. My weights weren't getting heavier. I wasn't seeing density forming in my progress photos. I wasn't seeing anything, honestly. I was just spinning my wheels time after time after time. I was constantly sore, so I wasn't recovering optimally either during that set. So there is such a thing as what's called maximal recoverable volume. And that differs based upon your training age, your goals, how much food you're eating, what season that you're in, and things like that. That is the maximum amount of volume that you can sustain as a person, as a bodybuilder, and still optimally recover between session to session. Because muscle growth doesn't happen in the gym. It happens when we're not in the gym, and I'll get to that in a second. But ideally, and again, may ask the question of, okay, how many sets per body part should I be doing per week? Again, it varies. It could be anywhere from 9 sets upwards of 18 to 20 sets per week. It depends upon the muscle group. It depends upon what you can sustain, what you've already adapted to, what you can handle. And then, of course, having a conversation with your coach about your goals. And so, and these things take precedent in cycles and in waves as far as like crushing it, glutes and hamstrings for about, a 12 to 14 week period. Then we switch over to maybe more quad based. We're still hitting quads, but we cycle through those kinds of things to, again, create that maximal recoverable volume and not going into this overtraining place. Because again, similar to my first point about poor form and going too fast, overtraining over time can also lead to injury. And again, not what I want for you or anybody in the gym. If we're constantly tearing and hacking away at our muscles and thinking that we're getting stronger and getting better, we're actually not. We could be setting ourselves up for failure in the gym as well as some injuries outside of the gym or in the gym itself. So the fourth one that I do see as well is kind of related to, again, the first three, not enough food and not enough time. Muscle building takes time, a whole lot longer than fat loss does. And if you guys have followed my YouTube channel, I've said this time and time again. Time is the biggest factor, along with fuel and recovery. I think those are my 3 pillars if I had to kind of choose a top 3 as far as my pinnacles of training. Fuel, time, recovery. Yeah, intensity in the gym, but that's a given. And so not enough food to elicit muscle growth and the change. This can happen in a maintenance or a slight surplus. You don't need to be a dirty bulk or gaining, as for females, like gaining 1.5 pounds a week to be, gaining muscle in a gaining phase. No, it could be a 100 calorie surplus. It could be a 200 calorie surplus. If you are somebody that needs to gain a lot of muscle mass, you got to give yourself time to get there. It ain't going to happen in 2 months. It ain't going to happen in 3 months. It may not even happen in 6. And so it depends upon our genetics, again, our training age in the gym, what our goals are. Because if your goal is just to build more muscle on your frame, I highly encourage you to take the time to do that first and then go into fat loss phase. That way, when you reveal that shape underneath, you're happy with the tone and with the musculature that you've built. So not enough food and not enough time. That's my number, kind of couple that together, kind of a cheat for number 4 here as far as top 5 training mistakes goes. And then the last one, used to be me as well, I'm gonna call myself out again, no rest days. I used to be team no rest day. I used to work out 7 days a week, and going back to the overtraining of I used to do 12, 14 exercises per training session, superset style, crushing myself, and then I wouldn't give my body time to recover. Wouldn't give my body time to actually grow, because again, muscle building happens outside of the gym. When we're not there, we're making tears in those muscle fibers when we're in the gym. That's what you feel when you feel that burn, you feel that pump, that contraction, that blood flow, all the good things that we feel in the gym that we actually enjoy. Now, body needs time to repair. Yes, muscles repair themselves pretty darn quickly, but it's also your nervous system and your skeletal system that needs time to actually recover as well, especially if you're in a very intense training block, or if you're giving your very best effort every single day. I have a saying, train hard, recover harder. Don't forget about your rest days, at least 1, if not more per week. And again, this is context dependent between the client. Now, on your rest days, what do? Well, you can take a walk, you can do a restorative yoga class, you can sit down and actually read a book, like these kind of things, and maybe take an Epsom salt bath, relax throughout the day. Take the stress off the body, because if you're constantly, again, hacking, you're not going to see the results that you want to see. And so I encourage you guys, evaluate your schedule, take your rest day, and make sure that it is an actual rest day, that you're not like going 1,000 miles an hour in the entirety of the day and not taking any time for yourself. Oh, it's rest day. And then you're getting back into the gym and then you're still under recovered, but then you may be pushing yourself too much, spinning your wheels, and not accomplishing what you want to accomplish. And so those are my top 5 training mistakes for today, guys. Comment below any questions you may have about training. I'll also put My contact info if you're interested in coaching. I am taking on lifestyle clients as well as competition clients for right now into the new year and beyond. So I'd love to help you kind of correct these training mistakes, evaluate your training plan, dive deeper into it, and set some really good goals for yourself in 2023. So like, comment, subscribe to my channel, all the things. I appreciate you guys sticking around for this video today, and I will catch you guys in the next one.